But I guess one thing I will say immediately, which is quite important, is one phrase that you guys use in the United States, and I hear it all the time, is when you meet an ex-service person. One thing Americans always say, which fascinates me, is 5 words: thank you for your service. I think that's amazing. That is such a sign of respect for veterans who have fought for your country, fought for your values in the various wars. That's kind of something that stuck out to me. But anyway, yeah, our minders for the trip, our hosts, if you like, they took us and didn't give us much information. Just said, we're going to Arlington National Cemetery. None of us knew what to expect, so we went there. Obviously, there was a lot of security as we were getting through, metal detectors, all the rest of it. And we walked in, we were given roses, which we placed on all the graves. We just saw the respect that was around for the people who had died and were buried there. As we were getting in, we heard that there was a laying of the wreath by the US President at the tomb of the unknown soldier. And we thought that was it. But we were to go to a main event inside Arlington National Cemetery's amphitheatre in the middle of Arlington National Cemetery. So we went into the amphitheatre and crowded in, and we managed somehow, the 9 of us plus our US hosts, to get a front row seat. As people were pouring into the amphitheatre behind us and filling up the seats, we kind of got a little bit suspicious as to who would be doing the speaking. And then as more people came in and we saw up on the balcony terrace, up high, all the important people and the very many important politicians and diplomats that we'd all recognise off the television, we thought actually this would be Donald Trump, the President of the United States, would be speaking. And we were in the front row. The only thing that separated us, where we were sitting, from the main speaker on the podium, Donald Trump, was the band. And that was so surreal. And then, as we had started to suspect, Donald Trump appeared and he made a speech right in front of us. We were like 10 meters less away from him as he gave his speech. We were all really kind of cozy and cramped into a small area, surrounded by a lot of different people. And we decided to engage with them and start speaking to them, have a conversation about what Memorial Day meant to them and what this day meant to be there in front of Trump. And I think this kind of dialogue is really important because, like, in the UK, I think we are very similar to the United States on many fronts. Politically, not always, but very similar on, like, a lot of things. We have a lot in common. But nonetheless, we do have differences on some things, and we decided to engage with a lot of the people around us and get discussions. And actually, that was just such a good thing to do, and I'm really, really glad about that. Because we had some really good, open, interesting conversations with the people around us about Arlington National Cemetery. We learned a lot about that through the people we spoke to, what the day means to Americans, what the military means to Americans. Thank you for your service, coming back to that, what this whole thing means. And I think it was just, I definitely got the feeling that more people in the United States, much more, a bigger percentage, take the day, take this event and take the military personnel service thing more serious than the average people in the UK, I would believe. I must admit, I feel a little bit like an imposter here.
Yeah. Big time.
You sound like it too.
It was actually a privilege and an honour for me to be there that day, to hear all the stories of the military personnel who had done some absolutely amazing, brave things in their actions, and who had sadly died through their actions, saving the lives of many others. We heard a lot of those stories. And I think that's what that day was about, remembering those people who had fought so bravely for their country and for their allies as well. You know, I have to remember this. When I talk about American personnel, military service people, what they fought and what they died for, remember, British service people were fighting alongside them. We're allies, and we have basically fought in all the wars together and died together as well. So a lot of the stories that we had heard of people bravely for fighting and dying, they were fighting not just for American causes, but for causes for allies. Although we were foreign, in Arlington National Cemetery, in the amphitheatre, in the centre of action during Memorial Day, we were very much welcomed by everybody who was there.
I am so glad that you got here.
No, thank you, yeah.
You speak good English.